Hello and welcome to Oakville Matters. This is the program where, thanks to your TV, we get to discuss the things that matter to you about Oakville. And today, we know the economic recovery of our town is important to you. And so I've assembled quite a panel for you to get into that. Let me introduce them now. Milan Bowie is from the Downtown Business Improvement Association. Maureen Healey is from the Bronte BIA. Doug Sams is from the Kerr Village BIA. Rebecca Edgar is from Visit Oakville. Drew Redden is from the Oakville Chamber of Commerce. Dorothy St. George is the recent head of economic development for the town of Oakville. Dorothy, I'm going to turn to you. Maybe the first thing you could do is do two things. The first, what is immediately ahead of us on our economic task force, on our economic recovery task force? And maybe you could share with people your new, longer, and much more busy title, because we've just promoted Dorothy.
Thanks, Mayor Burton. Well, this has been great to bring together this task force representing business interests all across Oakville. And there have been a number of initiatives that have been undertaken. And most recently was the launch yesterday of the marketing campaign to shop local. And as we are recovering and moving into some lifted restrictions under COVID, it's been great to see the reopening of Oakville. And this marketing campaign encourages our visitors, encourages our residents to shop local, to dine local. We've got great patios open, and to support our economy. So that's really what's up right away. We've also been very successful in the launch last year of a digital Main Street program to provide online services and help businesses establish a digital presence. With expanded funding that was recently announced by the federal and provincial governments, we're going to be able to expand that program and provide even more one-on-one assistance to our businesses.
Right. And Drew, let's turn to you. Three areas of town have business improvement associations, but we have businesses in plazas all over town. And can I get you to agree that you speak for those who haven't got their own business association?
Absolutely, and Mayor Burton, thank you for having me on this program with you today. You're correct. This is an effort that impacted our entire economy here in Oakville. We knew shutting down the economy was hard, but restarting is going to be an equal challenge. So it's so important that you've convened this group of people who represent businesses and industries from across the town, because all businesses need a voice at the table, and we're happy to play a role to ensure businesses of all shapes and sizes have that voice and can have that input into this task force as we plan our recovery here in Oakville.
Thanks, Drew. Now, all businesses, whether they're in the three BIAs or in the plazas across the rest of town, when I hear from you, what I hear is you want more visitors. And so let's turn to Rebecca Edgar. Are you worried about attracting visitors from out of town? I ask because in Oakville, we are now COVID-19 free. Our hospital is empty of any cases. In fact, for the last couple of weeks, the only cases we've had have been cases that we have hosted from other places who were crowding their own hospitals. What's your prospects of bringing more visitors to Oakville to help the businesses relight their cash drawers?
Thanks, Mayor Burton. You're right. We're extremely fortunate to be COVID-free here. I think at Visit Oakville, we've kind of changed our focus in the short term. We're really focused on hyper-local and working with close neighboring communities to attract people into town. We had it on some good feedback from some of our restaurants during the last week or two that they've already been attracting people from neighboring communities. So we are seeing some of that still, and look forward to kind of expanding that scope and welcoming people from a little further afield when it's safe to do so.
Well, that's good. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person, Maureen. I've met you many times virtually, but yesterday, wearing our masks, we met for the masked photo opportunity to launch the Welcome Back campaign. So how is it going in Bronte, and has the road closure been a hit or not?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if the word a hit may be appropriate. You know, it's going to take all kinds of innovative ways to bring our Bronte Village as well as other areas back to life. So closing a part of Marine Drive at Bronte Road to allow 2 patios to expand, allowing patios to take place in private parking lots, allowing patios to expand onto town land, all those things are going to be needed to help us restart the economy. So I'd say for the most part, people are very supportive, very excited about the expanded patios, and are looking forward to more of them.
I did a tour on opening day of 60 or almost 60 patios that we launched that day. One restaurateur in downtown Oakville said to me, "Mr. Mayor, I can't believe the buzz and the positive excitement that is all over the street as a result of the reopening. And the wider sidewalks are wonderful. Thank you so much for that." Milan, what is the latest from Lakeshore down there in the downtown?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the first weekend the patios opened, there was a really nice vibe and atmosphere, as you spoke about, on the patios. And I know the restaurateurs were really looking forward to welcoming their customers back and being able to see them face to face with the physical distancing implemented. And a lot of the patios that we have this year are new. So these restaurants who have never had patios before are now able to welcome their customers in different ways. And we're still continuing to see them pop up throughout downtown Oakville. So we're looking forward to seeing more in the coming days and weeks. But the energy in downtown Oakville is really great, especially with the new wider sidewalks and the flowers out and the banners out. It's a really nice atmosphere. So we're looking forward to Canada Day tomorrow and into the weekend.
Yes, happy Canada Day, one and all. Now let's talk about how we make customers feel safe enough to return to shops and restaurants. One of the things that I'm most proud of about our community is that we have some of the lowest numbers in the world about COVID, and we got there. In fact, we're down to COVID-free. We got there with voluntary measures without any coercion on things like masks. And I'm so happy with the way we got there without coercion that I'm really reluctant to be too eager to join the City of Toronto and the City of Mississauga in seeking to make masks mandatory in indoors in stores, which is, I gather, what they're talking about. What I've noticed is a concern to me is I know of 3 grocery stores. One doesn't seem to be doing anything around control. One is requiring you to wear a mask, and they'll sell you one if you don't have one. You can't come in unless you have a mask. And another one doesn't require a mask, but they do require you to wash your hands, stay with a cart, and maintain a 2-meter distance among shoppers. And they only admit the number that can fit in the store, maintaining your distance in the aisles. And so we have 3 different approaches, and the result that we have is we're still COVID-free. Our medical officer of health has advised just this morning in a meeting with me that she does not see the need to issue an order to require the use of masks. And I guess I'm interested to know what are your business members doing around masking? Are they alive to the idea that if they require customers to wear a mask, they might increase the sense of safety for customers and increase the amount of business that they get? And, you know, the guidance is keep your distance. I guess the guidance is wear a mask if you can't keep your distance. That sort of implies that if you wear a mask, you could have a few more people in the store. So can you discuss that? I'd like to hear business discussion of that. Can I start with you, Doug?
Well, in Kerr Village, I'm really proud of our merchants. It's a diverse group, and they're very resilient, and they found ways to make it safe on the reopenings. And one of the things that we did, we took our own initiative. We bought our merchants, we provided the ones that wanted them with social distancing decals. Yeah, and if you go down Kerr Street, sometimes you'll see them on the windows, sometimes you'll see them when you go into the stores. I've seen a lot of people with masks. I've seen some without. When I go into a store, a lot of the people that work in the store are wearing masks. And so I think they've took it upon themselves because they want people to come down to the area, and they want to provide a safe, healthy atmosphere. And because, you know, it's stressful enough to go through what we're all going through. So to alleviate that by doing that, I think it really helps.
Okay. Drew, do you think businesses will be advertising that, you know, come to my store because you'll be safer in my store because I'm requiring you to wear a mask? What can you predict the business community is going to do?
I think one of the things to remember is no two businesses are the same, right? So what keeps a customer safe in a clothing boutique where, you know, you're trying on clothes or you're with an associate may be different than if you're going into a butcher shop or something. So we really have to make sure that all the businesses have their own solutions that are in place that make them feel comfortable and their staff feel comfortable who are working there, and to keep their customers comfortable, because businesses have been through a lot in the last few months. You know, a lot of them have been shut down without any revenue coming in, and there's some cost to reopening your business. So we have to make sure that our businesses are supported, that their employees feel safe, and that their customers feel safe. But also keeping in mind that the same solution might not work for one company that works for another. So it's really having that communication with the businesses and making sure they're communicating clearly to their customers, measures that will keep them safe. And I think we've seen a lot of really great solutions in Oakville. If you walk down any of our streets, businesses are taking those precautions to make sure people feel safe. And as we talked about opening weekend, there was a great buzz around Oakville. Patios were packed, but people felt safe. And that's what's going to be important. And that's what's going to sustain our economic recovery here in Oakville.
Yeah, Maureen, what's the situation on the ground around what are we calling it? Safe practices, let's call it.
And I go back to the research that this economic task force in the town did a few months ago about the business impact of COVID. And I was looking at the outcomes the other day, and about 50% or more of respondents of businesses were concerned about managing that physical distancing when we reopen. So I think they've taken that caution to heart when they've reopened their businesses. So some of them have gone to extremes, which I think is in a good way. So many of them have signage outside before you arrive. It's very clearly noted on the door what's going to happen when you come in the store, whether it's putting sanitizer on, asking for you to wear a mask, to limit the number of people in the store. So I think people have taken that apprehension and that responsibility that they have, both to their staff as well as to customers. So I think it really is a shared responsibility, both for the business owner to creating a safer environment, but people that come to visit to also share that responsibility and do what the business asks of them when they come in to keep their physical distance and to keep everybody safe in the store.
Well, I know we've got a communique from the province that asks the mayors and other leaders to support our small businesses by committing on social media to, quote, shop local, shop safe, shop with confidence, and highlight the best practices to keep people safe, and buy such things as, you know, wear a mask when you can't keep your distance. I have a message on my social media that says, wear a mask to protect others when you can't keep your distance. It won't kill you or anybody else. And so far, thank you everybody for the little smile, because it's only a little bit of humor, but that was in fact the intended result. So maybe that is working. And I note that in the United States, they've the leadership down there seems to have reversed course and started to talk positively about maybe you should wear a mask. So, you know, and you're seeing a lot of outbreaks that maybe is humbling them a little bit. Do you want to talk now about the commercial recovery initiative that council passed all of 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago, I guess it is. Dorothy?
Certainly. Well, the Commercial Recovery Initiative really is a supplementary plan to the action plan that was first developed by the task force. So there were many initiatives from information to the business community about how to respond to COVID, to advocacy efforts, to initiatives by the town to provide support at a local level, such as free parking, our digital Main Street program, and so forth. The Commercial Recovery Initiative went a step further. So it provided more flexibility in the ability of restaurants to open patios. And that was what we were hearing specifically from the businesses as the restrictions were lifted for restaurants and they were unable to open the restaurant themselves. Their survival depended on being able to have the flexibility and utilize as much space and increase their capacity in the restaurants. So a lot of that Commercial Recovery Initiative focused on opening up those restaurants. And that was really a visible signal to the whole Oakville community that Oakville was opening up. And it's been very positively received.
Yeah, my sense is that everybody in Oakville seems to get it, that the most important thing is to avoid crowds where you might catch the virus. Although with no virus in Oakville, it may be, for the moment at least, that you maybe not take that all that seriously. I still do. I always bring my mask with me so that when I see people, when I realize that people are going to be closer to me than 6 feet, I can put my mask on. And I mean, I'm aware that the saying about the mask is that it protects the others from me. But, you know, if it makes sense that the mask is going to keep some droplets from going out when I speak, it makes sense to me that it's going to stop some droplets. Maybe not all, and everything, but everything's good. I've noticed this is a new kind of mask out there. The plastic face shield, and a lot of servers are wearing them now in the restaurants, even outdoors. And some of my favorite servers, as my wife and I go out a lot, and we really care about them, and I'm glad to see them. I think that's self-protection as well as protection for the diner. The other thing that I'm wondering about is, what do you see for the fall? Looking ahead, you know, when proper flu season comes in October, November, what kind of a scenario do you think we'll be in then?
Well, I'll respond to that. I think that this first round of COVID has taught people a lot about innovation and versatility. I think that businesses will be, and the community will be better able to respond should there be a second wave that we have to deal with. But I also think that businesses have learned to pivot, to look at new opportunities for growth, doing things in a different way to help sustain their long-term viability. And I think that's a positive thing. Even at the town, we've pushed the timelines for bringing in online services. There's efficiencies that can be achieved, and this situation has allowed us to really to push ahead with some of those initiatives, which is a great thing.
Yeah, I've thought, I've often, I hear from people that, oh, the downtown with the construction had a double whammy with, the disruption of the construction to replace the roadbed and to lay in the new broader sidewalks and better street furniture and everything. And then COVID created a double whammy. And I've always said, well, actually, I think it was a triple whammy, because the first thing that happened, even before the construction, we saw a huge impact in terms of vacancies from what I call the Amazonification of retail. And the second hit was the disruption, from construction, and then you have COVID. And one of the things that's been interesting is the digital Main Street is almost like trying to do a mini Amazonification of yourself as a way of fighting back. And Dorothy, we've seen a pretty big take up, we think. I'd like to ask the chamber and the three BIAs, have you seen a big take up in that? I have met a couple of shopkeepers who have sung the praises of it to the rafters, saying that it was a huge hit. Drew, what about you and what are you hearing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of chamber members that are vendors for the project as well, so they can support those local businesses. We also saw the government roll out a new recovery activation program that will help those SMEs and businesses a little bit larger to go digital. So I think Oakville's been a leader on the uptake in digital Main Street. And with the new rollout of program, we're going to see more supports for businesses to go digital, and that's really the future. And Dorothy talked a lot about the innovation of businesses here, and that's only going to further assist that. So it's really important for our future and our recovery here.
So as part of my duty as a jargon translator, SME, small and medium enterprises?
You got it, Mayor.
How about you, Maureen?
I would say we had a moderate or lukewarm uptake on digital Main Street in the first round, but if COVID has taught us nothing, it's that if you need to make that digital transformation, it has to happen now. So very excited to hear that the federal government is now supporting that program, so the grants will reopen again, and we have a lot of people that are now interested. They realize the future is now, and they need to take advantage of that.
Doug, is there a similar uptake on Kerr Street?
Well, yes, there is, in a very positive way. I mean, because the town proactively supported digital Main Street when it was first initiated, we found that our merchants who were online and stayed open, especially the restaurants for takeout and delivery, they did very well. In fact, in some cases, their numbers went up. I mean, they're actually in a good spot. Others found a way to get online, and that will continue. I think people have picked up new habits through takeout, delivery, and online shopping, and it has been a benefit. The first couple of weeks, I did contact some merchants and say, how are you doing? And many of our food merchants were doing better. Their numbers were actually maintaining or actually went up. So if you can take a positive out of a negative, what was going on, that's it. And they found out the strength, it reinforced you can be successful with an online presence, and that's become more and more evident.
Well, any progress is always welcome. Milan, in the old downtown traditional BIA, what's been the verdict on trying to Amazon yourself back at Amazon?
Well, I think some of the businesses that took advantage of the digital Main Street program at the beginning, through COVID, they've been talking to their neighbors and telling them how successful they've been with it, whether that be even just getting them online with developing a website or getting them on social media to allow them to connect with their customers. And so I think that some of the businesses who have created e-commerce sites during COVID are going to be excited to take advantage of the extended program and get some of that funding to help them further their online presence. So it's nice to have more and more of them coming online so that we can continue to connect with the community, moving forward, online and in person.
Well, it's all good news to me. We have waived, we basically waived property taxes until next year in an effort to be sure that we were helping businesses as much as we could. And it is very beneficial for the town's operations if we are all healthy and hearty and able to bear our fair share of the costs of having this great town we live in. So I count on the BIAs and the chamber and our own staff here to keep me and council informed as to ways we can make sure that we have a strong and vibrant business community. So keep your ears to the ground and make sure you keep feeding those ideas in, because I think they do us a lot of good. You know, the medical officer of health said that if you wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay home when you're sick, and don't cough or sneeze on people. You know, you don't have to have a mask necessarily, just put it in your elbow. You know, we'll continue to be able to survive this. So let's look forward to an up. I have a little bit of good news for everybody in the downtown and everybody who cares about the downtown, and that the downtown Lakeshore construction project is still on track. And the construction should be done in October, and then the cleanup will be finished by November, and we will be able to have, it looks to me like a really terrific Christmas parade, and possibly the biggest and best Christmas that this town's ever put on in the downtown. I don't want to take away from the Christmas activities of the other BIAs, but everybody's welcome at the downtown Christmas. Am I right, Milan?
Definitely. We're looking forward to something big this year, so stay tuned.
Right, and you know, as always, we'll have tree lightings all over town. Drew, are there any non-BIA tree lightings in the making for the year ahead?
I don't know, but I think everyone's going to be looking for a reason to come together as soon as we can. So, you know, we'll definitely explore all options that will bring Oakville together.
All right, well, thank you to each of you for all that you do to make our town successful, healthy, and wise. And I want to thank you for tuning in to check on this. And email me, mayor@oakville.ca, if there's a topic you'd like covered. And we'll see you again on Oakville Matters.